It is 8 o'clock in the morning here on Monday, July 7th, 2025. It's about, 78 degrees. The sun is shining bright and hot. There's a little bit of dew on the grass, not as much as usual, but that's okay. Moved them here in the last two sections. I just decided to get in the last two sections. I figured the extra area, the grass they couldn't eat in the morning would be shade for them in the afternoon. So you can see the sheep are just lost in the grass here. You know. And I was kind of impressed when I was looking at the last area. One of the concerns I have with Dallas grass, and each grass is different. Bermuda grass, it's hard to tell how tall it is from a distance. You have to actually stand in it. And Dallas grass, let's just look at a Dallas grass sample here. So they shoot up these seeds, right? And then down there is where the grass is, and that's only like what, a foot and a half tall. And so I'm always concerned, am I overgrazing the Dallas grass by giving them too little land, and they're going back and taking 2 or 3 bites of the Dallas grass. And so when I come back here in 6 months or 3 months or whatever it is, 3 months, I'm not going to have any Dallas grass because it's all dead, right? So that's the concerns that I get. One thing you could do is you can look at your fence line, and if they're not grazing on the fence line, that means they have plenty of food. There's no reason for them to go after the grass on the fence line. There's some element of danger involved, so they like to avoid it. Another thing you could do is look at the manure patties, especially older ones. They don't like to graze around manure patties. So let me see if I can find one. There's a manure patty there. And you can see the grass around it is pretty much untouched, right? Obviously they might graze and then drop a manure patty, so you're looking for places where the manure patty is and there's a lot of grass that's not touched, right? But one thing that kind of impressed me when I come out here is you can see all these little stalks of Bermuda grass sticking up in the air. I don't know if you can see it on camera. I can. You know, something came by and just took the seed head off of this guy. Try to get it to focus. You can see that the seed head's gone. This one, the seed head's still intact. You know, but also the depth of the grass. You know, the leafy part of the grass is really good here. Right now, why are they not grazing here as much? One of the reasons is possibly as they go back to get water, which is what? Oh, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts away to get water. So 5 times 75 is 375 feet or something like that, I'm guessing. So 375 feet away. They go to get water, and then on the way to the water and on the way back, they see a little bit of grass and they just nibble at it, you know, in the center part of the pasture, which I think is one of the reasons why the middle part of my pasture just doesn't do as well as the two ends. Is they're taking double bites as they pass by. And because they're doing that, they're not eating as much grass where I want them to. But I don't know if that's really what's happening here. I think it's just we have more forage in this part of the row than we did in the previous part. And so they obviously can't eat as much. It's not like cows can eat more than they can eat, right? There's a certain amount, their stomach's so big, it only digests so quickly. They can only eat so much, and you want to reach that target every day. Just keep their bellies full as possible for maximum gains on forage. Now, obviously, I can give them grains and things like that would make them get fatter quicker. More nutrient-dense food, but you know, that's not how I make money. And just to kind of reiterate the thought that I've been having for the past month or so is regenerative food should be cheaper. If it's actually regeneratively grown, then it costs the farmer less money to make, right? And that's the reason why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it necessarily for the health benefits, which are a nice byproduct, you know. And if it turns out that the regenerative products are healthier and people are willing to pay more for it because they know it's healthier, then fine, you know, go ahead and give me more of your money. I don't care, you know. But the reality is that I'm trying to compete with the current market. And so I want to create cows that are a little bit cheaper than my neighbors. And so when I take them to the sale barn or sell them to my neighbors or whatever I do with them, I get a little more profit, right? And so when the margins get tight again, you know, if the price drops, which it will, it always does. If the price drops, because my margins are bigger than theirs, I'll still be making a profit when they have to start taking out loans to continue operating. You know, whether they're borrowing from the bank, their family, or from themselves, you know. And that's the goal, is to make money, right? If you're not making money, it's not worth doing. If you're spending money on it, it's something you can't do forever, you know. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts there. But yeah, that's my concern is are they eating too much grass? In my extensive 4 years of experience doing this, that's like the only question I really have, is if they eat too much grass, it's just kicking myself in the butt, you know, because it's going to take longer to come back to, which means I have to slow down the grazing even more, which means they're going to eat even more of the grass, and it's just a bad loop, right? So if they're eating too much grass, I can speed them up momentarily, but I need to get rid of the animals and free up some of that forage, you know. Another way to look at it is the soil requires a certain contribution of grass. You need to feed the soil, right? And if you're not feeding the soil won't feed your animals. So anyway, guys, have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.